What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Factory Town. We left off, we had just got the school in place, and we were researching the farm, and now we're actually working on basic logistics. However, it is time to get a farm going here. So let's take a peek and see what we need. Looks like one worker we've got. 50 coins, we've got 10 stone brick. We are all good to go. So let's check out the farm and exactly how it works. Now I'm assuming we're going to want to get as many of these tiles in place. It kind of seems like you would want. Right about there seems like in kind of an ideal position. Let me go ahead and slap that down. Alright, so there we've got a farm started. As we see, the grain is already just piping in. Now we are going to need a little bit of water. We're going to need a way to get our product out. As we see, it's already full up. So let's take all of these guys and just park them over here for right now. And this is going to free up a nice little chunk of workers here, as we're not going to need these guys harvesting grain anymore. So let's see, let's go ahead and take a chute out, and we see it is actually flowing. It looks like we can just go directly into it right there. So now we have got our grain mill completely automated. Now the interesting thing about the farm is not only is it auto harvesting all this stuff, but it also is set up to replant the products. As you see in the top right corner, the input and output, we need some water going into it, and then later on we'll even add fertilizer to it, and we will also fill out the area so it's producing more grain per tick. But it's got a nice steady flow of it coming out of there. You know, not a ridiculous pace, but doing pretty decent there. And I believe getting a little bit of water there will help things regrow some. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we can come just right next to it here and build a well. Let's see, what do we need for a well? That's really easy to build. Now the well, I want to make sure I'm putting just one tile away. So there's one tile break in the well, and the reason being is then I can just dedicate one person to parking right between the well and supplying the farm with the products. Now first things first, they've got to dump off their goods, so let's go ahead and drop those off, and then let's go ahead and grab water and bring it to the farm. Now this worker is just going to park right in between the well and the farm. Let me see, I need to give him a reason to go to this tile. There we go. And now he's just going to go right back and forth with really no distance at all and drop water into the farm. Now this is going to help the grain grow a little bit quicker, and then we're also going to eventually expand this area out. So if we take a look at farming, we can put a farm tile down and then actually plant grain. And to plant grain is just going to require 2 of the grain, and then that is going to produce more overall yield from the farm itself. However, we take a look and we could have it coming in a little bit quicker, to be honest. So just to start things off, why don't we go ahead and add another worker. Now this is the first time we're adding a worker directly to one of the structures, and basically the goal here is we want to increase the productivity, of course, of the farm, so we want to get the grain just pumping out of here. So if we go ahead and add a worker, that's going to jack it up to 135%, and the grain's going to come out a little bit quicker. Now, of course, the more workers you add, the faster it's going to go. And basically what I want to get to is I want to see 4 items going out in the wagon every time. So let's take a look and see what we need to do to get there. It's actually, is it the input or the output? It appears to be the input. So we could even go 1 more worker on the grain. Oop, not enough spare population. So let's go ahead and get some of these houses upgraded. We've actually got some unhappy houses here, and I do know why. The reason is I yanked the stone brick away for just a moment. So let's go ahead and drop just this stone off into the base here, and then let's use that wagon, and we'll go ahead and start grabbing brick again and bringing it over, and that's going to go ahead and increase the happiness, and we're going to start earning a little bit more of that red coin. So let's get that flowing here, and we're starting to look pretty good here. We just need more and more and more grain coming in. Now, as I mentioned, I can expand this out. That's going to allow even more grain to pop. And it's going at a decent clip, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and get some houses upgraded. So let's see, what do we want to do here? See, we can upgrade quite a few houses, to be honest with you. We've got all of the materials to do it. Let's hit 4 of them up to level 2. That's freeing up just a ton of workers here. And let's just get this farm really jacked up. Even though I don't have it filled in, I don't have the proper amount of space yet, let's get this farm really, really producing and make sure that we're getting 4 of our products going over to the food market with each wagon. So let's take a look and see what it's going to take to get to that point. 3, it's actually really close to 4 right now. Wow, it almost seems like it needs 1 more worker. Yeah, still at 3. Let's go ahead and get 1 more worker in right here. Now it's at 185%. It should really be pumping out here. Okay, there's 4 items leaving in the cart right there now, so that is a step in the right direction. Just trying to get our wagon up to capacity. Oh, it was only 3 that time, though. Let's take a look at the grain mill. I'm wondering if we need another worker at the grain mill now, because now our input is going way up, and our output is not quite there yet. Let's add 1 worker right here and see. This should... I'm hoping this is going to get us up to 4 every time in the wagon. Just trying to make sure that that wagon is working at maximum potential. There's 4 that time. Let's see if we get 4 this time as well. Yep, alright, there's 2 in a row at 4. Very, very nice. Now, I went right for basic logistics, and the reason I went for logistics is, of course, just want to start working on those conveyor belts. Now, before we can do the conveyor belts, we're actually going to have to do some farming, and that means next up, I'm going to have to research the animal pasture, so I didn't think ahead very well there. Oh, here's a problem. We have run out of trees over here. That was just a very small treed-in area, and we are now out of trees. So what we're going to have to do is find a way to get this wood over into that lumber mill. So first things first, let's just park these 2 guys that were chopping trees down. Let's just park them right here. And let's see what it would take to get maybe a chute all the way over from these trees. I have to watch the terrain, as there is some different, some funky angles here. And I want to make sure that my elevations are all good. I think this just may do it. Let's see, what are we going to need to go all the way in? We can just go right on top of these. We can throw another block right there and then just go into the side of it, maybe. I think that might be the thing to do. Let's see if we can't even this terrain out just a little bit more. We need a structural block, a scaffold block. And we'll basically just fill that area out, create a little makeshift bridge, and then that should allow... It should allow us to go directly in with it. It appears so. Alright, so now let's take these guys and see if the wood is going to follow the path that I'm hoping it will. We will find out in a moment. Is it going to make it? Of course, wood is not going to roll uphill on a chute. Okay, now it's making it over, but it's not going in. So I think I'm going to need to make some adjustments here. Can I go over? I can't go over there with it. How do we want to do it? I should have had it come down one more and then directly in. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and pull these up and we'll have it come directly down here instead. And then we'll have it go in, and there we go. Now it's going right in, no problems. And looks like we've got solid flow with the logs feeding in. So we should be making paper. Oh yeah, we've got the paper production handled without a doubt. Now I've got some extra workers here, and I think it's time to start maybe looking at collecting some resources from another place. It's only going to be a matter of time, and these trees here are going to be gone. However, before we get to that point, I think we will have some forestry service going. See, we've got some herbs going here. Let's see, we're getting really close on the logistics. We just need the paper to keep flowing in, and we are getting there. Oh, this guy is still doing manual labor here. Let me go ahead and park that guy right over there. We don't want him picking directly out of the field. Let's have this one dump his grain off. And then I've got 4 loose workers here, basically, that aren't doing anything, really. Let's take a look at the paper production. The paper production is actually going fine, so I don't need any more workers over there. I probably overkilled this. I feel like I should work on getting a few more of these grain plants in here, but I'm not sure if I'm far enough along. See, I can't make fertilizer yet. I don't think... You know, I am going to need some grain in storage to be able to plant grain. So, what I may do is let's have one of these guys. Do I have another barn on this side of the world? First things first, let's get a barn over here. We need some storage over here without running all the way across the world there. So why don't we just go one, or we'll leave the two path opening in between. And you know what, just to eliminate not picking anything from this area, let's just grab the grain right from there and go into the barn. We'll do that with a couple of those extra workers, and then that leaves these 2 here that we still have nothing to do. So we'll put a little, our little pile of workers right there and let them go for now. Now, I mentioned I wanted to scaffold up above and put in a second floor up here, and I'm going to do that, but I just don't think I'm quite at the position to do that yet. Let me take a look at this barn. This barn's got massive wheels going in it still. I turned the workshop production off because we had so many wheels and we weren't using them, so I didn't really want to continue on there. And wow, we are definitely getting close on the logistics, so we're doing good there. It would have been a bit smarter to have a paper mill out here, actually. And then I could just automate it and have it run right in. I think eventually that's what I'll do. We've got water right here. We could always just put in a well. The wells are very, very, very easy, as you saw here. They only take 1 tile, and it's just super, super easy just to park one thing in between it and not even sweat it. So the wells are kind of a piece of cake there. Let's take a look at what other buildings we might be able to do, though. See, the well, a crate, a barn. That's about it. We are at the length of it, so it's just a matter of getting the research done for sure. Alright, and as you see, we got our basic logistics research done. That gives us lots of options in the future. However, I jumped the gun a little on logistics, as we just can't even make the conveyor belt yet. If we take a look at the workshop recipes, the cloth conveyor belt, we're going to need cloth. To make cloth, we're going to need animals. Yeah, we'll need some wool there, so we're going to need a pasture. And I can't actually make a pasture yet. However, I think that may be next up for research here, though. Let's see, animal pasture, pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and study up that animal pasture. It'll be done super, super quick, it appears. About 150 seconds, so just 2.5 minutes, and that animal pasture is good to go. Now, the animal pasture is going to need another grain mill with something to feed the animals. And where do we want to go with the animal pasture? I need to come up with an area that'll kind of be workshop row. Once these are above, I'll just have one ramp going up over here and one ramp going up over here. So getting things to the general store and the food market will be really easy. I'm not sweating that in any way at all. However, I wish this area was flat. Now, I can flatten that eventually, but of course I'm not there yet. Now let's take a look. We are depleting our grain pretty quick. Now the grain will grow back, and then the animal pasture is also going to allow us to produce some fertilizer. But let's see if we can't plant some more grain. No, see, that's got to be on a farm tile, so we actually can't do anything yet. We're going to end up stripping this grain field out quite a bit, I would guess. We're going to have to see how that goes there. We've got another little patch of grain out here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start clearing that little patch out. That's a long run for those guys, but that's alright. I'm not even worried about them, as they were just extra sitting there at the moment anyway. Having our first farm automated is definitely a nice step, especially when I can expand this grain out and really get the production flowing out of this farm. Some fertilizer will help. Some of those farming tiles will definitely help as well. So the animal pasture is actually almost done there as well. It's only got 8 more ticks, so we're doing good here. We're producing massive amounts of paper. Our wood is actually going to start backing up here soon. And there it goes. It actually just hit a backup. So these guys are doing good with keeping up with the wood and the paper supply there. I should be getting an absolute ton of planks. Yeah, I've got like 400 planks in the inventory right now, and a ton of wood. Now, I really don't need to be bringing all that wood in. Let me see where this guy is going. Where is he getting the wood from? Okay, he's clearing it from right there. Let's go ahead and bring this guy up and park him as well. And now we have the animal pasture. However, remember, like I said, we're going to have to feed those guys. So let's go ahead and see, where do we want to put an animal pasture? We've got this big grain area over here, which is kind of nice. Remember, we're going to have to feed them. This is just a small area, but it is nice and flat. And it's a long way for these guys to travel. However, it seems like it would be a great spot to put some pastures down. And it's relatively opened up enough now where I could do something with that pretty quick. This grain here, I would rather have the landscape. So I'm going to let these guys deplete this grain. Let's see, I tell you what, let's go ahead and build another farm. Yep, I need 10 stone bricks. So I think we might pause. Let's pause this wagon again for just a moment. We'll just park him right there for the time being. And we'll get our stone bricks jacked up here, as we are just burning them super fast. It's amazing, all this stone rolling in, and we are just eating through it. That's another thought, maybe, is cranking up the production here. Or maybe even moving a stonemason over here, where there's just a really, really short travel distance, and we don't have to worry about the roll at all either. It's not a bad thought either. Let's see what it takes to put in a stonemason. We've got everything for a stonemason. And those are really, really easy to just sneak in anywhere. Double the bricks would be a good thing. You know what? Let's do it. Let's plop one right here. And then 4 workers available. Actually, I got one that's sleeping anyway. Let's have him start feeding in the bricks. We got to get a recipe assigned here for the stonemason, which of course is stone brick. So we're just going to let that guy keep producing. And these stone bricks we'll just throw into this storage perhaps. Now we're up to 13 already, so I can go ahead and get this moving again. Let's do that, and then let's put our farm down. And this one, you know, as I mentioned, there's not a whole lot of grain out here. However, this is an area that we're really going to be able to expand out. So I am going to put a farm. Let's put it, say, right there, and just let it start working. And then the animal pasture. Now the farm, we are going to produce... What are we going to produce? Well, the farm is going to be producing the grain. I'm thinking of the mill. We need another mill as well to produce our animal feed. So let's check out the mill. What do we need for it? We can just pop that down right there. Here we're going to go with the animal feed. And we'll put just a chute in. Traveling right on out. And that should... yeah, they'll just roll right out the chute. So we're in good shape there. Now this guy, we can go ahead and let's dump off that grain. We'll just park this one over here for now. And we're going to need to work on getting a pasture out. Now we're going to need these guys here. As we don't have water out here. In fact, I can go ahead and put another well down. Let's just get that down right next to it here. Can't afford. Bring more resources to the base. What was I missing? Let's take a peek. I'm missing the stone bricks. Alright, so it's time to start yanking these stone bricks out of here and getting them into our storage. So let's grab one of these guys. We'll bring them over, grab the stone bricks, and throw them in the barn right there. Oh wow, there's no room in the barn. That filled up with grain so fast. Holy crap. Alright, so that's not going to work out. Instead, let's take them and put them just directly into the base. That's going to be a little bit of a haul for that guy. However, you know, we'll get it there. We'll get it there pretty quickly. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pause this wagon again as our happiness is holding up. We're at plus 19 right now. So we're getting a 10% production bonus, which is definitely a very nice start. And let's see, how many of those stone bricks do we need for our well? We need 10 of them, so it's going to take just a moment to get those. And what do we want to research next? We got forestry, intermediate logistics, metallurgy, medicine, and steam power. I think forestry might make sense, as that's going to allow us to automate the tree chopping, particularly once we get some of these patches of trees laid down. So let's go ahead and research forestry. That one will be pretty easy for us to obtain. And we've got our bricks that we needed, so let's go ahead and get that well put down out here. Once again, just going to put it directly next to it, and then park this guy right between. And then we're going to have him grab water and just add it right into the farm. Now, I'm losing a little bit of productivity out of the farm here from taking up this space with the grain mill. However, once we have got this area all cleared and expanded out, I think it's going to be beneficial to just have those kind of a modular unit, and I can just fill it in with grain, you know, all around next to it. And we do have enough, it appears, to get our pasture in. So let's get a pasture in, let's say, where do we want to put it? Let's just put the pasture right next to it. Let's give it 2. We'll give it a little gap of 2 there. And now the pasture, if we look at it, let's see what we need from the pasture. We need wool, would be the first step. Now that's going to produce fertilizer and wool. So let's start off with this one here. Will be a sheep farm or whatever. We're going to get the wool flowing out of here. And then that is going to allow us to start making some of the very first transport belts, which will be nice. In fact, I can put a workshop out here as well and produce those just over on this side of the world. Now, as you look at the pasture, we see we do need an input of animal feed and water. And I think the easiest way to get that done at this point... See, these guys are full up. Why don't we take this guy... We'll bring another one of these workers over. In fact, let's bring both of these workers over. Why not? We're not going to need them there. We've got a barn full... just full of grain now, so we're going to leave that just sitting there. Alright, we've got these workers over, and we need to dump this stuff off, actually. I should have dumped this stuff off there. Let's go ahead and dump these items over, and then we're going to use these two workers. For the moment, we're going to use one to get water and bring it on over. Oop. Try this again here. We'll get water for him and bring it to the pasture. Why was it not accepting it? That is very, very strange. Let's let him run out here and see what he does. And then this one, we will... Oops, I just laid another one down by accident. It's alright, I've got the spares. So this guy, we're going to grab the animal feed, and we're going to take that to the pasture. This guy, we're going to grab some water and take it to the pasture. And there we go. That should resolve that. And then I can make this guy's life a little bit better. Actually, let's make all these guys' lives a little bit better. Now, once again, I'm eating into my farm space here. However, there's plenty of room out behind it. You see how many tiles it covers, which I'm going to fill all of that in eventually with grain. And that leaves me a nice, flat, straight frontage out here for whatever I develop up in this area over here. So I think that will do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Really digging Factory Town. I can't wait to get this place built out a little bit more. Definitely coming along nicely. As you all saw, I cleaned up the chute here that was going over the barn. We just had no reason for the stone to go directly into the barn anymore. And now we can go ahead, actually, and get this stuff flowing back to the general store. And I think we are good for this time around. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to click the like button, please subscribe, and looking forward to see what we can come up with here in Factory Town. So thank you once again, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.